Rhea up. Come here, pet. Come on. Okay. This is my buddy Rhea here. Just to be with me everywhere. So my arms are going to get very sore holding her, so bear with me. So, sorry, what was your question?
Yes, Martin, so what got you into storm chasing yourself?
My friend got me into storm chasing completely by accident. His name is Connor McDonald. What happened was we lived together years ago in the same neighbourhood and literally adjacent to each other, and we had this tall fence that divided the two gardens. And of course I've been into amateur astronomy for a long time, so I was a very keen observer, and every night I'd be out with the telescope searching for comets and observing deep sky objects. And then next door neighbour Connor, who's younger than me, spotted the telescope when he came over the fence and we started talking. And this was like a nightly ritual that went on for a long time. Connor had a big interest in the weather, and particularly in storms and tornadoes. And when he came over, he would talk relentlessly about storms, tornadoes, and to tell you the truth, I was a little bit annoyed because here he was wishing on storms and clouds coming in, and I wanted to be clear. But over the course of time, his passion was so strong and genuine that it actually rubbed off on me. And over the course of a few months, I became very passionate about the weather too. And Connor taught me to look out for mammatus clouds and cumulonimbus clouds, all the basic convective storm setups. And every time there was a tornado watch issued or convective outlook from Toro or UK Weather World would be out with our first cameras snapping clouds. So that's kind of how it begun. It started off in the backyard, and then we eventually worked our way into this big football pitch beside us with the cameras. And back then we thought that was a big move, you know, very exciting. And then eventually we couldn't drive, of course, back then, so we walked miles into the countryside, and we would take our cameras with us and we'd shoot rainbows and dramatic cloud, anything at all. And it was through the course of doing that we learned how to use cameras and photography and notice the clouds, identify them. And then eventually got to the stage where I got myself a proper camera. It was a bridge camera back then, a Fujifilm S6500, and with a telephoto lens on it. And I started getting more serious about it.
Yeah.
I started walking. I couldn't drive still, so there used to be a lovely big hill outside Mahara in the countryside, and I would walk. It's maybe like a mile out the road, and I would walk out there any time there was a chance of thunder, and I would spend maybe 14 hours a day just on this hill, even in the winter time. And there was like a little forest above it to shelter in, and I would just stay on top of that hill in the forest and come out onto the hill and shoot all the clouds coming in from the west and southwest. So I'd be there in the winter time and I'd be there in the summer time, and I scored so many times with big thunderstorms coming in.
Brilliant.
Even put myself at risk, to be honest. Quite scary situations. But I seen brilliant lightning, I seen shelf clouds, great structure, mammatus, and I got hooked. And then I decided I needed to drive. So my only reason ever, this answer's going on for very long here. But the point is, the only reason I learned to drive was to chase storms. It wasn't for personal reasons or anything else. I didn't care, you know, about cars. The one reason I wanted to get out was to chase thunderstorms and to get cool foreground from the photographs like the Aurora and so forth.
Yeah.
And that was my motivation for doing the driving lessons. And I actually told my driving instructor that. And he never heard anything like it before in all his years of doing it.
Can you remember, Martin, your first ever storm chase in your car when you were driving?
Yes, it was. It was actually Connor driving. He picked me out. Actually, this is a very important part of my life, to be honest with you. July 16th, 2007. Chance of thunderstorms. Connor rang me up, says, thunderstorms coming up towards Slieve Gallion. Do you want to go chasing? I said yes. He came flying around the corner with his girlfriend. He picked me up. We drove out the road through torrential rain and hailstones, and I put the window down to look out, and the hailstones were coming in all around the car and all. And we drove up through flooded roads. I got to the top of Slieve Gallion, and a terrific barrage of CG lightning coming down, very, very, very dangerous. We had to wait for it to pass. And then we ran out to the top of the stone pile, the old cairn in the mountain, and we watched the storm go into the distance. And overhead there was this grey anvil with mammatus clouds and CG lightning coming out of the hail core. And I had my first digital camera back then. I recorded a video clip and I caught my first CGs coming out striking the ground. I was delighted. I was totally hooked with the whole concept of storm chasing, driving and going after these things, taking them to the next level. It was like a natural drug. I thought it was brilliant. I thought this is something I want to do. But to be honest with you, I was maybe 70% hooked. Then the next day happened, July 17th, 2007. Another convective outlook, and this time a massive funnel cloud. That was the one that got me completely hooked for life. Connor again drove up to where I live with his girlfriend. I seen him flying past in a cloud of smoke, and I chased him up the road on foot with my camera because I knew something was brewing. There's 5 thunderstorms were around us at one point rumbling away.
Wow.
And there's just one big cell to the east over County Antrim near Lough Neagh, which wasn't rumbling, and that one produced this massive black funnel cloud, and that was me hooked. We were saying the day before we'd love to see an FC, a funnel cloud, but that's something only you can imagine in your wildest dreams in this country.
Yeah,
but
a
we
little
got
did
it
you
that
think.
day. It was the biggest one we still ever seen. We still believe it may have touched down. It was massive, and it was just like being in Tornado Alley. I was hooked. I was obsessed. That was me. Life changed forever, right to the present day.
Fantastic. And Martin, you had a good storm chasing season last year. You definitely did. What was the highlight of your year last year?
Yeah, a couple of events stand out. With this chase season, for me, it would be, of course, the visual sighting of a tornado near Toom during the summertime. That was fantastic. And then the big shelf cloud thunderstorm between Portland and Ballymena. That was nice. And of course, some of the CG strikes up in Moreau near Lough Foyle that day. Those were really dangerous bolts. I'm trying to think of anything else. Yeah, a nice funnel cloud from Slackneil football pitch, which my mum and I witnessed. That was actually the last event in the sky my mum seen when we were together before she took ill and passed away. So that funnel cloud was quite spectacular. It was like a dagger. It was like something the ancients would have reported. One minute we were looking at the sky, I saw this convection coming in very tall over that area, but underneath it was a veil of grey, almost stratus type cloud, so the sky didn't look very inspiring, but I knew the updrafts were there, so I was on alert. So we went for a walk around the football pitch with Rua here, and I came back to the van, and then I looked to the west over the top of Carntalker, flat grey sky, no different. I looked down on Rua like this for a minute, looked back up again, and there it was a full formed funnel cloud rotating just that quick.
Amazing.
And it looked like a sword, a dark grey sword, very sharp, just hanging straight down from the sky, rotating really fast, and it held its form for a good 5 to 7 minutes. It was absolutely beautiful, and I got the telephoto lens on, zoomed in, framed it up, got loads of images. I was delighted, and Mum was standing beside me watching it. She couldn't believe it as well.
Fantastic.
So we went out that day scanning, hoping, sky watching, looking for funnel clouds, and there it appeared right in front of us at that exact location.
Yeah.
So that was special.
Fantastic. And I believe you got a funnel cloud not so long after that. Was it there? You got one after it, or was it before it? You got 2 funnel clouds around that.
There was another one in Lough Neagh that day, the tornado. There was a small one over the loch.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
A very small one. I'm trying to remember if there was another one. Was there?
I thought there was.
Can we?
You can edit that one out. I thought there was. I thought you got 2, and like it was the space of like 2 days or something. It was around that. No, was it Spurns?
No, that day in Slackneil, there was actually another one formed.
Right.
After that sword.
Right. Okay.
There was another one formed about 5 minutes after that in the exact same spot. It was shorter.
Right.
And then the rain came in and kind of obscured it a bit.
Oh right. Okay. Sorry, my bad.
Yes, there was 2 funnels in that exact area that time
Yeah.
within 5 minutes. So that was good. And of course that was some of the best stuff that happened last summer were non-severe setups. Like the big thunderstorms on the hottest day of the year. The wind's blowing, so I'm speaking up loud. We had 30-degree temperatures. Really, really hot. And there was no wind shear at all. All we had was surface convergence, strong solar heating, generous cape, cool air aloft. And the cap broke and these massive storms just erupted over the high ground. They're absolutely fantastic, and these storms were prolific lightning and thunder producers. They went on all day. Once they died out, an RSL would form and pop up, and it was just fantastic, hardly any forward motion. So they were just sitting there over the scenic Spurns with the sun shining on your face, listening to thunder. It was fantastic.
Oh,
and the funnel clouds and the tornado all came from days with no strong wind shear at all. So it goes to show that, I'll let Rua down, it goes to show that you don't need strong wind shear to see cool things in a convective setup.
That's right.
Convergence helps, and I'm always on alert when I see strong solar heating and convergence with cape.
Yep, that's... So Martin, I believe you had a good few runs out with the Aurora as well. You had a good Aurora last year as well.
Yeah, I did. The one you were there for.
Yep.
We had a decent Aurora up the County Antrim coast.
Yep.
With Nigel and John. Yeah, I actually believe it was a G2 storm as well. It actually took us by surprise. The moon was up the couple of days from full phase. It rose in the east, very bright, and the Aurora just stood out clear as day.
Fantastic.
We've seen the colour, we've seen the green beams, we've seen a hint of red in them, and the camera brought up the red quite vividly. Even the wide angle lenses, 15mm in full frame. It was like nearly full in the sky, you know, it was absolutely fantastic. So that was a nice treat. Alright, come on, you're getting cold. So yes, so we're hoping for more Aurora geomagnetic storms.
Yes,
comes.
right.
Hopefully this spring and summer, when the sun gets more active, more sunspot groups, yes, we'll get some serious Aurora activity. Looking forward to that.
So Martin, are you looking forward to the storm chasing ahead?
I can't wait for this spring and summer. All winter I've been visualising long sunny days, t-shirts, convection bubbling up and thunderstorms getting out chasing. So at the moment I'm mentally already there. I'm reading books on the subject and researching it. I'm watching videos on YouTube. I'm watching videos of thunderstorms in the USA, in Ireland, in Europe, the different European countries. I'm watching forecasting videos, and I'm actually mentally preparing, well, physically preparing my vehicle as well, trying to get it ready for the road for the spring and summer season, because the last thing you want is your vehicle letting you down during the season. So my MOT's coming up soon, and I have a few tyres and bits and pieces to get, so eventually it'll be ready, and then it's just up to nature after that.
That's right.
I'll be on the lookout from March onwards, once the solar heating starts to pick up any unstable days. Yes, I'll hope to chase every setup that's worthy of chasing within range, of course. It's justifiable.
Yes.
So with a bit of luck, nature will show off this year, but just something special.
Yeah.
It usually does every year.
It does, but we wish you all the very best for your storm chasing season ahead, Martin, and we're looking forward to seeing all your reports and your images and videos.
Thank you very much. Cheers.